Now, the man you've all been waiting for. Mr. Portner, I got you down as Ernest. You're not Ernest. You're Leigh Portner.
Yeah, whatever.
You go.
I don't call it.
Is that your father? That's your real name?
Just don't call me late for dinner, that's all.
He's a man of incredible knowledge. And if you haven't seen it, there's a recording on YouTube of a talk about the logging up at North Lake. Incredible. It's kind of the similar.
Little paper cup.
Yeah, worth seeing. It was recorded by the Tug Hill Conservancy. So I am going to try and switch things over and get the movies ready. And in just in a second, I'll turn it over to Mr. Portner.
I started going with them in the plow truck when I was about 8 years old. And by the time I was 11, my father put me winging with the wing. Probably today they'd call that child abuse, but he came along behind with our pickup. This was Bud Lewis's place right there where we are now on 285. We had GI cans in the back of the pickup for refueling the truck. They weren't too easy on gas. This is in the mill yard. There's a town of Ansville. No, that's Vienna. They got in a ditch. We had to pull them out. This was on the Westmoreland Road. George Donahue, Byram's gravel bed, had the contract for that from Rome to Westmoreland. And that's the guy in the middle. Those are county executives. That's George Donahue on the left. The highway commissioner was Tom O'Brien. This is down the back of the sawmill. We're opening a road back in the woods. You can see the chain falls on the wing. This is New London Road. We're winging back. The other side of the road didn't have hardly any snow on it. And this side, that's my Uncle Bill. He's standing on the wing, put pressure on the wing. That was chain falls on that wing too. You could just about get the snow over the end of the wing. Then if you got a storm, you'd fill it right full again. Yeah, I got to be wingman after a while, stand in the back of the box running the chain falls. Before hydraulics. Trying to get the back, so. Had chains on all four wheels. She was bearing right into the bank. Those guys that was in the cab driving didn't need the heater on either. The sweat would be pouring right off of them. We always used FWDs. My father got them from Ed Creedle and Utica and the Citron Brothers. We bought a lot of parts from the Citron Brothers. That's over the hotel on the New London Road. That's my uncle, that's Red Nunover, and the next guy to the right there. This down, this is an ice storm we had in, I think it was 46. That's the hotel next door, Maple View Inn. That's Route 69 in front of our place. That's Joan Sherwood. That's our place back to the pond. There comes some antique cars. That was a hotel. This is down to our place. There's a shot of the hotel again. That place was Underground Railroad during the Civil War. That was built in 1840. And they had a tunnel from inside the hotel out to the barn where the slaves, they had the slaves in there. This was out on the Westmoreland Road. We had 3 trucks hooked together. This road had been plugged for 2 weeks. And we went to Rome Iron Mills. They had a big bar, 3" by 6". 8 foot long. And we hooked these trucks together. And here's Donahue working a shovel again. Well, anyways, the only contact, the guy in the front truck had to put his fingers up what gear you were going to start in. So every truck, and when to start, he'd wave his arms. The guy on the left is Ellis Aldrich, a friendly undertaker from Griffin and Aldrich. That's Sears Brockway had been stuck in there for 2 weeks. Them are the Nice boys. That's the Westmoreland Road. There's the 3 trucks hooked together. 2 FWDs and the last one's a white. That's Mr. O'Brien, the highway superintendent, riding. He had a big grin on his face there. He'd get right out in a storm and be right there. That was the Westmoreland Road. These boys are town of Vernon, Linn. They met us out on a Carter Road when they come across. This big Linn tractor had a big Frink plow, double wings, had 20 ton of pig iron in the back for weight. And this thing could go through anything. You didn't have to back up with that. You just went. Everybody got out because they'd been snowed in for 2 weeks. There was this Linn had a cab on the back with the controls in it for the wings, and it had a stove in it, so the guys could keep warm riding. Let's see. No, I don't think that one did have a cab. I don't know. That's my mother and my dad and uncles, George Donahue, my mother. Here we're back up on 285. Adams is cut. Still had the chain falls on the wing. That was hard snow. It was all chunky, frozen snow. Hard stuff to move. Here we are up on Boardman's Hill on 69. This was a storm of 47. About 12 feet of snow in there. This is our old Linn we had. We used the Rotary in there to widen it back. This is on the road to Tabor. There's probably 10, 12 feet of snow in there. That's been plugged for 2 weeks. This was a storm of 47. You didn't have to back up with that Linn. She pushed right through. You didn't need any heat in there either. The guy driving it, the sweat would be rolling right off of, right in the shirt sleeves. This is out on the Westmoreland Road. This is 47. The last year we plowed, we had a pretty bad storm there. This was the first Rotary that Oneida County had, the first Rotary plow. It didn't work out good because those paddles would break off. They'd go out to shoot, be like sending a missile out. This was out by the O'Brien Road on the Westmoreland Road. This was the first Rotary the county had. That barn's long gone now. It was storming pretty good that day. I don't know if any of you remember the storm of 47, but it started snowing the 1st of March. The ground was bare. It snowed for 2 weeks, steady, night and day. And it snowed. It was heavy. And it plugged everything. They had to airdrop food to people because you just couldn't move and the roads were plugged. This is still down on the Westmoreland Road. Yeah, that thing was all right, but those paddles would break off and they'd go up through the chute. That's a 200 horse Waukesha they got on the back of that. Gas job. There's about a 46 Chevy Coupe. 200 horse. That thing must have used about 20 gallons an hour or more, probably. Maybe more. You could shoot that snow either way with that. You could turn the funnel, shoot it either way. The guy said those guys must have had leather ears because they all wore them, just a derby hat. They're storming pretty good there. Once in a while, they'd catch a mailbox in there. Shoot them, had airmail. Have airmail. Yeah, the first contract he bid on, I think I saw found a copy. It was $1,600 for the winter. Of course, gas was 17 cents a gallon then, but those trucks, they used a lot of fuel. There, the old Rotary's getting pretty well wore out. She's skipping. The chain is getting loose on it. And this is on the New London Road. Had 34 miles we had to plow. This is a big Walters. This is a county plow. The county took over in 47. And Philo Robinson from McConnellsville, he was a driver for that truck. Well, he didn't like FWD trucks. So he got the thing stuck and we had to pull him out with the FWD, and my father took a picture of it. We had three FWDs. We had one-way plow and 2 V plows. This is a big Walters. Now he's gonna hit that bank. He was quite a plowman. He could plow. He liked smashing into it, banging it back. There he is. He got stuck. Something, they're pulling him out. This is up by Bud Lewis's again. Widen it back. That's a big Frank on there. It was 12 foot to the top of that. That's the biggest plow Frank made right there. This is up by Seaton's coming into Thompson's Corners. That's Philo. There he got stuck. We had to pull him out with the FWD. He had a big grin on his face. That's my dad's old 40 Ford pickup. That's going by Lyle Adams' place again. That thing had filled right level, right across. That was heavy snow there, chunky stuff, frozen. No powerful steering in there either. There he's winging her back. There's my father standing there watching him. Boy, that thing could move snow, I'll tell you. There's our truck. Our trucks were coming along. We had 3 trucks there that was moving it back.
Who's filming?
You couldn't wing it over the bank anymore, so you had to get it on the other side of the road.
Who's filming, Mr. Portner?
Huh?
Who's filming? Who's taking the picture? Who's filming? Who's running the camera?
My father. My father. Some places they couldn't get it over the bank anymore. This is Boardman's Hill again. This is the second rotary that the county had. This was 47. This was the middle of March. That's coming up Boardman's Hill going to Tabor. There's about 12 to 13 foot of snow in there. This county had this, it had a rotary auger, had augers on it. This one worked okay. But it took us 3 days to get from our place to Thompson's Corners. Night and day. There's a mailbox coming in. And I don't know if he got it or not. But this snowblower worked pretty good. These are all county boys here. It took us 3 days to get from our place to Thompson's Corners. To get the first day, it was all day, and then the guys would go back and get some sleep, 2 or 3 hours of sleep, send another crew to run the truck, keep the truck going, bring the fuel in with a pickup, refuel it, and keep on going. Well, the second day, 6 o'clock in the morning, we got to Bud Lewis's place. Mrs. Lewis had a ham dinner ready for us, fed us. And then after dinner, Allie got out the hard cider jug. And he had a big round oak stove in the living room. Well, everybody conked up for about 3 hours. These guys hadn't had any sleep in 15, 20 hours. And so we went on from there, and it was the third day before we got to Thompson's Corners. The snow was unreal. There's that old paddle wheeler again. That worked pretty good, but if you hit something hard snow or something, it would break those paddles off. I think that's at FWD. Yeah, that's FWD. I bought that engine from a guy over in Verona. There's a town of Ansville's crew. I bought that engine from a guy who's going to put it in a sawmill. It's a big 200 horse Waukesha. It was set up, you couldn't move it. It was set up tight. So I had to scrap it. This is going up to Thompson's Corners. We had 3 trucks. We had one, and then the next one on the other side, and then the last one would push it back over again. Had sand in the box. To do the sanding, you had to stand back there with a shovel and shovel it out by hand. This is getting towards Seaton's up there. About halfway up on, there's Thompson's Corners Hotel. There's Jenny and old Peter Kalowski. There's the Hannafin boys and the Seatons and Mitchells. That's me standing over on the left. She fed us when we got to Thompson's Corners. That was the next morning too. There's some of the local boys celebrating. And she fixed us a ham dinner too, Jenny did. Clyde Weber, Jimmy Tuttle, That's the old hotel that used to be there. I don't know when, that must have burned in the 60s, didn't it, or something? Did it burn in the 60s? The barn's gone now too. That was our turning around place. Get warmed up. There we're going back home. This is the last trip. After that, the county took the plowing over. This long end by Seaton's there on 285. There you couldn't just barely get the snow over the bank. There's Adams's cut again. Boy, that was a wicked place in there to pile snow in. Terrible. You'd make a shelf along there, and then the next thing you could put that snow up on that shelf. Had hydraulic wings on these trucks. Got modern. We were going up one night. This is about the last Boardman's. Okay, that's the end of it. This is road jobs. This thing is about 3 hours long.
Let's have it a hand for Mr. Portner.